Okay, I'll start up.
Hi.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
You too. This is our first online training night. So we thought we'd do on the exciting topic of online auctions, and who better do it than Steve Bradley. So I just want to welcome you all to our first online training night. It's called Online Auctions, What to Buy and What Not to Buy. First, I'll introduce myself and Steve. Steve, who I'm interviewing about the online budgie auctions. A bit about myself. My name is Vanessa White, and I'm currently Secretary of the United Budgie Club, and I'm also an intermediate breeder. And next year, we've got enough points, we'll be going up to open level. And I'm speaking with Steve Bradley. He's United's Vice President. Steve's an open level breeder and has been facilitating United's online auctions for, I think it's about 1.5 years now. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, it's about 18 months. Yeah, we've only auctions this year. Last year we just did sales on the Facebook page.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
But
yeah.
Same, yeah.
So why do we have online auctions?
Well, we're having online auctions because we can't meet because of this silly virus that's going around stopping everybody's life from occurring. But you know, what better time for us to breed some good budgies when you can't go anywhere? So you know, we had all these breeders in the club who were breeding nice birds and couldn't move them on, and you know, you get too many birds. So I thought last year that we could sell some birds on our club website for the club, so that our breeders could get rid of their birds, but also the club could make a little bit of money on the side, because in reality, the club, you can never have enough money because we need money to run things. We need the money to run our diploma shows and the UBC shows, and you know, any event that we put on for you requires a bit of money. So, you know, I just thought about it and thought, you know, it'd be a good idea if we could do that and sell some birds and the club could make a little bit of money. And then this year, COVID continued, and I did one online sale at the start of the year, which was okay, but then the 32 auctions were on board and quite a few clubs were getting involved with that, and especially the South Australian club was making good money on selling birds on the auction. So I decided I'd have a look at that to see how involved it was. So we've now had 5 online auctions through the 32 website, and it's been going really well. We actually, each auction is getting stronger. I'm limited to only 20 birds at a time, and I'm using some of the best breeders that we have at the moment to source the birds, but really only our club members. And it's working really well. You know, we've got a good following and we're getting some good money for our birds, and the club's actually making some money, which will be beneficial to everybody else when we start to open up again. I hope that covered your question.
That did indeed. So I was just wondering if you could explain to us why breeders need to buy birds throughout the year.
Before I do that, Vanessa, just one thing I didn't mention, that the club makes money because we actually take a 10% commission per bird. So the breeder gets, just say for instance, the bird sells for $500, or the breeder gets $450 and the club gets $50. That's how it works. So at the moment, with the 5 auctions, we've raised nearly $3,000 for the club. And we've also raised more than $600 for Eastern, Western and Bendigo, whose auctions were cancelled, but the birds that we put up for sale were in those clubs' auctions. So we donated half of our commission to those clubs as a matter of support. So our club benefited by 5%, and as did the club that the bird was originally in the auction for.
So it's a good way to support other clubs.
Yes.
And keep the community going.
And try and keep the hobby strong.
The next question was, why do breeders need to buy birds throughout the year? Just to sort of explain why we need to do that.
You know, look, you might have some good birds, but you can always get, you know, better birds, and you need to improve your birds by bringing in others for outcrosses, different bloodlines. There might be a particular breeder that you fancy, that you like, and you like some of the features of his birds, and you want to put those features into your birds. So that's why you need to look at these, bringing in birds from another source, another breeder. And what you really need to think about is, whose birds do you like? Like, you might like Rowie's birds, or you might like Baxter's birds, or you might like Vic's birds. His birds have a particular style, and that's what you want to bring into your bird. So by buying birds from another person is a very good way to improve the quality of the birds that you've got.
It's also good for, like, if your lines have got too close together, isn't it? So say you've got a certain variety and you probably need an outcross to bring in, because they're all closely related.
If you're breeding your lacewings, you need to bring other birds in to strengthen your line, and also to have your bloodlines a bit further apart. So you need to do that, yes. Same with me with crests. I like bringing in outcrosses to put into the crest line and try and get some size and body into the birds.
Yeah, because they're hard to get sort of large, aren't they? Is that right?
Yes, they are. They are hard to get large. Yes.
And what are you focusing on with them at the moment? Like, have you brought any birds in to help the crest?
Good sized Spangle AOSV of Vic a while back, and I've been trying to put that, the size of him, into the crests, and it's hard. It's hard. It's a challenge, but look, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're a little bit behind Shepherd and Flank at the moment, because they've got so much of it. Their line is so strong with they're champion breeders, and their lines are very, very deep. So they've got the birds to be able to put into it, and that's what I need to do, and what all you other members need to do with your birds.
So I'm just going to get back to the online auctions, how people go about submitting birds for online auctions. Can you explain a little bit about the process?
Right. What we're looking for is good quality birds. We've got the reputation of the club at hand here, so we don't want to offer birds that really should be going to the pet shop or should be going to the budgie bash. We're looking at good quality birds. So I actually put the birds through a bit of a vetting process. If I don't think they're up to standard, I'll get a second opinion. I'll ask one of the other champion breeders in the club, being Vic or Rowie or Alan Bax, whoever's available, to get a second opinion. So we're looking for all the features that you want in your bird. So we want good length of mask, good blow, good size in our birds, or in the crest. You've got to have a good crest. The features that we're looking for, like you with your lacewings, you're looking for the feather and the colour and the quality of the bird, which is going to take whoever forward, not backwards. So it's the same when you're at an auction and you can actually physically see the birds. You know what the bird's carrying when you see it, because you can see it. And on an auction, it might be a little bit harder to do that. So you need to be careful. Getting back, so if you want to put birds into the auction, so you contact me, you'll talk to me. We'll have a discussion about your birds. You'll send me some photos and a video of your birds, and I'll let you know whether or not they're good enough to go into the auction. Now they might not quite be up to standard, so if that being the case, I can always put them on. I can always put them on. I can always put them somewhere else to sell them for you. I've got a standard where we like to start the price of the bird as close to $100 as possible. So some will start at 70 or 80, just depending on what the variety is. Like if it's just a green normal, we might start a bit cheaper. But if people see the quality of the bird, it'll go up to $150, $200, sometimes a bit more. Talk to me, and I'll tell you exactly what we need.
Yeah, I mean, you've always given us good advice, because it can be a bit daunting when you first go ahead to do it. And I've always, trusted you. And
well, we were a bit surprised. Like, just talking about you, for instance, we can go back to last year when we put some of your birds on the United page just on the Monday night sale? Yeah, the Monday night sale, which so at 8 o'clock on Monday night, your birds were there and it was first in, best dressed, and we put a price on it. Your birds just went, boom, gone, 2 minutes. we put a decent price on. The price that you said Vic and I actually put up, they went in a flat. So it's good. So you've got to be careful. But the auction is a level, because if people won't like the bird, they won't bid on it, which is fine. And we've been lucky so far that every bird has gone. Every bird has had a bid. Some people play games with the auction. There might be, the auction runs for a week, so people have a lot of time to look at the birds and view the birds and check the videos that we post on the Facebook page. And come Friday morning, the last day of the auction, I can go back 2 auctions ago. We had 2 of Darren's hens, and they were beautiful birds, but there wasn't a bid on them at all. But then come 7 o'clock that night, it just went bang. Everyone's just trying to do these birds. I think everyone was trying to outsmart each other. And the birds ended up selling for $600 each, which was amazing.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun to watch on a Friday night.
Yeah, you've got to keep refreshing though. That's the only thing. It's not live. You've got to keep refreshing the page. Yeah. And of course, what we also do is, I'll explain, is that the auction finishes at 8 o'clock on the Friday night. But if there's a bid in the last 3 minutes of the auction's extended for that bird for 3 minutes. So it keeps going until there's no bids for a 3-minute period. So, the auction may suppose to finish at 8 o'clock, but it actually finishes at 8:15 when the bidding's finished. And like some birds have gone from $200 to $600 in 15 minutes because you might have 2 or 3 people that really want that bird.
Yeah, that's great.
Good for the breeder and good for the club.
Yeah. My next question was about taking photos and video. So what's the best way? What have you got some tips on how to do that? What's the best way to do it?
I've got some tips. What you need to do is you need to have the bird calm and relaxed in the show cage. You can't just go and get every bird, put the bird into the show cage and expect him to sit there for you to take a photo. You're dreaming if you think that's going to happen. What you do is you put the bird in the show cage, give it some food, let it rest for about an hour, and then go back to it with your camera and put the camera up to the cage and see if the bird remains calm. If the bird remains calm, take lots of photos. Just snap away, but try and get the photos between the bars of the show cage. So you need to have the bird's position right at the back of the show cage. But you can also take some photos of the birds back from the cage so you can see the whole bird in the show cage so that you can actually see the size of the bird within the show cage. So when you've got some good photos, you pick the best, just delete the rest, then take a video of the bird showing all aspects of the bird. So you go in from the top, down the bird, the tail, the whole lot. So you get a very good view of the bird. And preferably, I'd like you to take about 20 seconds to do that. Any longer, the file gets a bit big and it's hard to upload. But in 20 seconds should give you enough visual of the bird to be able to see what it's like. And especially if you can come back and pan in so you can see the size of the bird on the perch in the cage. So you can see where the head is in relation to where the back of the cage goes up. Now that's a good indication of the size of the bird. Like some of the really big birds, the head goes above that bend in the cage. So yeah, that's something to look out for when you're looking at the birds in the photos. Try and look at the cage, look at the surrounds, and work out the size of the bird to its surrounds in the cage.
Yeah, the show box is actually a good indication, isn't it? It gives people a good indication, which I stupidly didn't do this time. I've bought a photo box.
You've got your photo box, which is a bit different. What you could actually do with yours to improve it is put a tape or a ruler at the back and have the bird set so I can actually see the height of the bird in inches or centimetres at the back. That'd probably be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Because with the actual showcase, where that roof goes up on the angle, you can actually see the change. You can see that line through the showcase, so you can actually judge the size of the bird.
Yeah, and with video, that makes it make a bit more sense, doesn't it? Because with a photo, you can angle it, so it can distort. It'll distort the background of things. So, I also took the wire off my photo box this time at the front, so I could get a proper view. And I had funny, and we did it in the kitchen, and this bird's flying out of the box. So
The other thing I just want to mention is make sure you've got good lighting. Yeah, lighting is important as
yeah,
well, and it shows the true vibrant colours of the birds.
yeah, I find it's trying to work out where the shadows are. So you just need to move the box around a little bit, try different. I've got some positions in our kitchen that are quite sort of have the best natural light. And I've found that, and I haven't always done it, but I've noticed that the best light that I've had is like usually morning light outside has been good.
And you want to have the bird calm. On the auction page, we limited to one photo of the bird. So I try and pick the best photo of the bird that shows the features of the bird, and that's the one I use on the auction page. But I also put all of the other photos of the birds on our club Facebook page, and I include the videos and extra photos there for you to see. So if you're buying birds on our auction site, that's available to you. But if you're going to another auction site or a different club or a different state, you want to ask for a video or more photos of the birds if you're serious about trying to purchase the bird. You've got to be able to see as much of the bird as possible before you want to make that decision to bid on it.
That brings us to the next question, I think. If you could give some sort of maybe general advice you would give to beginners on what to buy at auction.
Okay, right. Well, if you're a beginner or intermediate member, I would say buy birds off a breeder that you are aware of a breeder that you know, of a breeder who you has got a good name in the hobby. Like someone like Rowie or Baxter, their birds are going to be of good quality. But have a look at the bird in the photo. Try and gauge the size of the bird, how it's sitting, make sure that you can see that it's got its flights. Look at the video if there's one there. You check the tail, you check everything that the birds should have is there. You want to make sure the age of the bird, like you don't want to be buying old birds. We have a policy with the club that the birds have to be, I think a cockbird in for sale now is 18 and the hens are 19 or late 19.
Year 19, not 19 years old.
2019, year of 19. But in reality, if you're buying a hen, you probably want it to be at least a 20 and the cockbird maybe a 19. But that's not saying that the 18 cockbirds aren't up to the job, because they most likely will be. But you're better off buying a younger bird rather than an older bird. I have heard where somebody had an undersized show cage and his birds looked bigger than what they actually were, but I won't take that any further. But if you're sticking with our club, I can vouch for all the birds that we put up. They'll be of good quality. It's something that I'm really stressed all the way through. So, and if you ever got any questions about a bird, give me a ring or any of the other members, just contact us and say, listen, I'm thinking about buying this bird. What do you think? That's, we're open. That's, we're a good, strong club and we're close, and that's what we like to see and do. Give us a call, drop us a line. Not a problem. Just do it.
And I guess there's also the option if, say, you don't want to spend that sort of money. I mean, I guess there's also the option of contacting you or the breeder, and they might find something else.
A lot of the breeders are trying to offload their good birds on their auction because, it keeps them going financially. It pays the seed, it pays all your expenses that you have with your birds. And as you know, they do mount up over time. So the breeders will always have birds that they'll be willing to sell beginner members within the club. So if you're chasing a particular variety that you want, do that. You don't really need to spend huge dollars at the start to get good quality birds. You might be able to pick up an 18 bird or an 18 or 19 cock or hen that is still in good condition, and you'll get a season out of you, and that's enough to set you up for the future.
When we started, I just bought champion breeders' birds, and a lot of the time they were just not their auction quality birds, but we'd buy like a small family. And I think that really, those guys that have been, and women who've been breeding for many years, even their smaller birds have you know, we've popped out some fantastic birds.
Because they've got the blood behind them. They've got that bloodline, which is what you want. Not every bird comes out a champion. You know, you can have a champion bird, but that sister's a runt. But that runt will throw you a ripper bird. You know, that's what you've got to look for. And the breeders will sell you those birds, you know, not for an arm and a leg, you know, for a decent price.
Run us through how you bid on a bird. Like if you know, you've gone to the auction site, you like the bird, what do you do? Like, what are the do's and don'ts? And
well, you've got to, first of all, you've got to create an account.
Mm-hmm.
So when you create an account, you fill out your details and you put a contact on there, which is either your email address or a phone number. I think a phone number is probably a lot easier, because then the administrator or the vendor can just contact you straight after the auction to say, yeah, you won the bird, just contact me and we'll organise things for you to get your bird. We set a starting price on the bird, which is normally the bottom end of what the buyer is looking for. And there'll be an increment of how much they go up for. So you can do an exact bid or a proxy bid. And a proxy bid, so the increments might be $20, say. So the bids go up in $20. That's an exact bid. So it goes 120, 120, 140, 160. But if you wanted to, you could actually put in a proxy bid, which might be $161.50. And don't laugh, it's been done. People do it. And so you could actually put in that little bit more of that odd amount that you think might put people off. And so that's a proxy bid. So it's a good bidding on a bird is easy, and you get a notification through 32 auctions that you're the highest bidder. And when you're outbid, you get notified again. So you know, that's the easy part of the whole system. The hard part is actually choosing the right bird that you want to bid on.
Okay. And so with the proxy bid,
do a little bit more.
With the proxy bid, so you can assign like what's your maximum spend, is that right?
I don't know. I think a proxy bid is you can do a bid other than the exact bid. I really haven't looked into that.
No, I mean like you know, say I don't want to spend more than $210 or something. So
that's like an automatic bid. You set your upper limit.
Oh, okay.
And so if somebody else outbids you, you bid again straight away until you reach your target. That could be well and good, but I'd prefer to do my bidding manually rather than relying on the computer. If you've got 5 minutes at the end of the night on Friday night, just sit there and do your bid yourself. You know, if you're a busy person, fine, it's set up for a proxy bid, but I think you're probably better off just doing it yourself.
Say you've bought a bird, you've been successful, you've got your bird, and what happens next?
Well, what happens is, that's the fun part for me, being the administrator of the auction. I get the fun part of telling all the sellers who's bought their birds and what happens. I limit the amount of birds per seller to 5 or less. So at the end of the night, I'll do an email to the vendor of who bought their birds and the price with the contact details that are on. And then the vendor, the seller of the bird, then just emails or rings the buyer to arrange the exchange of funds and how the bird's going to be picked up. And at the moment in COVID times, the transport companies are doing a roaring business, picking up birds. A lot of our birds are going interstate. And we have not had a hitch so far. Everything's been going very, very well.
You don't have to worry about your, restrictions on movement. So you can get a company or someone who's in pet transport to come and pick up the bird from the...
So what happens is, just say, for instance, Vanessa, you buy a bird, I'll contact you either the night of or the next day of the auction finishing. I'll say, hi Vanessa, you successfully bought my bird last night. All you need to do now is you pay for it. So here's my details. You just do a bank transfer, and then now if you can just contact a pet transport company, they'll pick the bird up and deliver it to you. Or if you're within the 15 kilometres that you're allowed to, you can come here and pick the bird up. Yep. Not a problem. We can do a contactless exchange, and that's happening all the time too, which is good. You can pay cash on delivery if you want to. It's up to the arrangement that you make with the person selling the bird. So
that's easy. It's easy. So it's not something that should...
It is easy.
Yeah, it shouldn't deter people from doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, a majority of our birds have gone interstate, and there is no issue. All the crests that I've sold have gone interstate. Every one of them. They're gone to Tassie, South Australia, Queensland, and New South Wales. And they've all got there in good time. So it's not an issue. There is no issues with it at all.
Yeah, actually, we've had a few go interstate, different places, and it's really nice when people have actually bred with your birds, especially with hens, because sometimes you're not sure how the hens are going to go. And we had a guy who, I don't know, she laid like 13 eggs or something and sent us photos of the chicks and everything. And it's really nice. It's always exciting to see how they're going, and it's great when someone's getting really good results off your own bird. It's really nice.
It is good. And look, in these times, this is a good way to get some good birds. I don't think we'll be having auctions before next year. And the auction season normally starts around about March or April, I think they start. And I think by then, they might be on again. There's a lot less work for the organisers doing it this way online, but I think we will get back to doing face-to-face auctions again, I would say, by the second half of next year. Easy. And at the moment, this is good. With people are moving their birds, and people are managing to secure some good birds as well. So we just keep the hobby alive, keep the club alive too. Hopefully, with the money that we raise through the club, we'll be able to, have more functions and more information nights for you, so you can learn more. That's what it's about. We're just trying to attract more people into the hobby. That's what we've got to look at next.
So I think you've said it before, but just want to stress what the advantages are of buying birds from a club's online auction.
I think if you go through a club, you've got the guarantee of the club behind you. Like most of our breeders will guarantee their birds. I know that if someone bought one of my crests and they got there and it either died in transport or whatever, I'd probably replace it. And I think that's something with most club members would do. We've got the experience of the club. We're putting the club first. If we didn't do this, the club would be languishing, I think. Financially it would be hard, because although we haven't done a lot, it still costs money to run the club profitably, successfully. We're a good, strong club, and we want to keep promoting our club. So it's good that we can do this for the betterment of the club. So what's happening now is I'm starting to source some birds from outside of our club. On this auction this week, I've actually got some birds off Lloyd Richardson and Neil Hunt from Easton, and only a few birds each, but our club gets the full commission for that. We're not sharing our commission with anybody else. So that's something else which is helping us, but it's also bringing other members in other clubs towards our club as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's a nice community too, isn't it? I mean, even
it is a good community.
I mean, even normally, but now, because we've been going through this the last couple of years, and I'm sure it will, there'll be certain side effects next year as well. But it's a good way to keep in contact with people and, connecting through your hobby, I'm talking to people who I would never meet otherwise. So, and
they're the same here.
Yeah. And you're working together, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people from interstate, messaging me about the birds and asking questions, and I'm directing them to the Facebook page. I say, go to the Facebook page. That's where we're putting everything. Everything's going on there. So, the numbers on our Facebook group since we started doing this it's almost doubled. We've gone from 400 members to nearly 700 members on that site, and they're all members from all over the state. And Vic's been selling some black eyes, and he's been getting good dollars, but they've been going to WA, and the bloke over there is absolutely wrapped that's been getting Vic's black eyes, because they just can't get them over there. So, beneficial for everybody. And of course, Vic's made these friends out of it. You're making friends with people who are buying your birds. They're going to say, and same with me. They're going everywhere, and you're making these contacts. So when the Nationals come back on, hopefully next year, you're going to meet these people.
Yeah.
You'll meet, and you'll be able to have a beer with them, while talking birds.
That's right. Well, that's great. We'll end there on a super positive note. And I just want to thank
you
you.
know,
Steve.
I was just going to say one thing.
Yes.
Buying birds online, just be positive about it. Make sure you know where the bird's coming from. So yeah, we only sell birds who have been bred by that person. So we are buying the particular breeder's birds. So if you know the breeder, then you know the bird, and it's all a positive thing. We are not going to put anything up that's not worthy. That's saying it nicely. If it's not worthy, we won't put it on the site.
Yeah, that's great. That's excellent. Thanks, Steve. Is there anything else you want to add, or?
No, I think that was good.
Good. Thanks. It's been really informative. I've learned a lot, and I look forward to taking better pictures of my own birds in the future.